guys, we're in the new Veloster Turbo, and Tom and I are going to have a bit of an argument because this is one of the few cars that actually has 3 doors. I have 1 door on this side, basically a coupe, and you've got 2 doors on that side so that you and the passenger can get in. So party over here, utility over there. And Tommy, what do you think of that?
Well, I think it is really cool because you retain the look of a 2-door hatchback, but you have that 3rd door to get into the rear seat, so you're not fighting with folding the front seats up to get into the back. I think that's a really clever bit of kit, a really clever bit of engineering.
Yeah, I would agree, except I absolutely do not agree. No, you are completely wrong because I can't see anything. I've got a blind spot bigger than an elephant. I also think it's really weird that the B-pillar on this side is offset from the B-pillar on that side. I also think the whole thing is kind of goofy because if you're, let's say, parked on the side of the road where there are no entrances on this side, you have to walk around the car to get in the back on that side. I also think that there is very limited room in the back. You know, if you're going to have a 4-door utilitarian hot hatch, just make it a 4-door with the hatch. Don't give me this asymmetrical silliness.
Well, if you want that, there's a lot of them out there, right? I think this design, they call it a 2+1 door configuration, is very unique. In the US, Veloster is, I think, the only one that does it like this. And it allows you to have this really cool sloping roofline. It allows you to have the look of a coupe, but the functionality of a 4-door. And, like, let's be real, you don't need that door when you're getting into the back seat. You can just slide over. It's just one seat. Practicality-wise, how much are you really losing by having that door? Now, you're right, I'll give you this. That window is much smaller than the right rear passenger window. Like a lot smaller, and it is a little weird how the B-pillar's a little bit offset. But, you know, when you're driving it, you don't really notice that, do you?
No, I guess if you're in the back, you notice it. Up front here, you don't notice it. What I do, in the back of my mind, think about is the fact that because of this kind of weird asymmetrical configuration, you really can't share a platform with any other car, so it does create, I think, more expense in the long run that people who buy this car pay for. I also think in some ways it's the worst of both worlds because on this side you have an incredibly long door, right? So the door that you're using the most, the one that's most likely to bang into other cars when you're in a tight parking space, is incredibly long, and the door that you're using the least, which is that one, is the shortest. I mean, that's just silly, right? One of the great things about a 4-door is not just that you can get in on both sides, but that this door isn't crazy long so that it's easy to open, you know, when you park it in a tight space.
But look at it from this way. When you're street parked, parallel parked, and you need to get someone into the back, you're going to be using this right rear door. You're not going to want to walk around into traffic to get people into the back seat using the left rear door. You're going to want to use that right rear door, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense, but the other big downside is that on a normal vehicle, let's say a GTI or a Focus, right, that might compete with this, that back seat would be good enough for 3 people, but because of this, I think, weird door configuration, you can only put 2 people back there, right? That middle section has cup holders. There's no seatbelt for a 3rd person, so really this is only a 2+1 4-seater, not a 5-seater.
But realistically, how often are you going to be using that 5th seat, or how often are you going to be using the back seat at all in this car, right? You might as well have the look advantage of a coupe, at least from one side, then have, you know, extra doors that you may not use.
Yeah, I think people would put like a baby seat in the middle. That's a good place for it, and you really can't do that. All you can do is put like a big gulp back there. The other thing I think is that because there's 2 ways to look at this. 1, it is unique, or 2, it is weird, right? You're saying this is unique, but there's a lot of people who will be turned off by this. A lot of potential buyers will say, that's just weird. You know, I don't want a car that has this 2+1 configuration. I want a traditional either 2-door or 4-door, and I think that also hurts sales. And does it cut both ways? Hell yeah.
If you want that 4-door, there's so many options. I mean, that's kind of the Veloster. It's always been a unique, kind of zesty vehicle. And this is one of the things about the Veloster that makes it what it is. And now we have this new cockpit layout in this new Veloster that's angled toward the driver, so the cockpit here isn't symmetrical either. It's kind of breaking the boundary of what it means to design a vehicle, and I think that's very trend-setting and very cool.
You know, why don't you just put 3 wheels on a car? You know, if you're going to go down there. Because nobody puts 3 wheels, well, some people put 3 wheels, because it's a really inherently bad engineering choice, right? Either get a motorcycle that has 2 wheels or get a car that has 4 wheels. Those 3-wheeled...
Yeah, but that compromises the inherent ability of a vehicle to go down the road.
The stability, right?
Yeah.
And I think this compromises the inherent design of a vehicle. Maybe it's just my OCD, but I like to have everything be symmetrical. Your face is symmetrical. Well, as symmetrical as it can get. Mine probably isn't anymore, but it used to be. And I like to see that in my cars. I like to see the same on the left as I do on the right.
But driving down the road right now, you have no idea that there isn't a door right there.
Every time I look over there, I see that B-pillar right next to your head, and this one way behind my
But
head.
unless you're really looking for it, you don't notice it. And like you know, you're driving it. You're not standing outside looking at it. Exactly. Oh, well, that's got 1 door on this side, but 2 doors on this side.
Well, other people are, and Tommy, no, you're wrong.
No, I think you're wrong.